I'm aware that I look like a dirty old man. I'm aware that my voice probably sounds a little scary. And I'm aware that I don't want to do this right now, but I'm getting annoyed. Hello everyone, welcome back to the fam squad. We're doing this video from my bed today because I don't want to get out of my bed. A plus YouTube. So today I want to talk about Stranger Things. I know, like crazy. I've never talked about Stranger Things before. Today I want to talk about Stranger Things golden boy, at the moment apparently, Billy Hargrove.
I don't understand. I don't understand! I don't understand!
I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Now, because my YouTube channel is based on me expressing my opinion about a lot of things all the time, a lot of people very graciously send me messages on like Instagram or in the comments of my videos explaining to me their opinions about things I talk about. And for a lot of the time, I think it's very good. I think it's very important to open up a dialogue, especially with like the topics I talk about on my YouTube channel. But sometimes I don't necessarily want people to give me their opinions. I'm very much like the kind of person where like I know that there's people who are like, oh, there's no such thing as a wrong opinion, blah 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 blah, like we all have the right to an opinion, and I am so like, I hate to say like I'm not that because that makes me sound like a terrible person, but like I very clearly have one opinion on my YouTube channel about certain topics. So when people come to me and give another opinion expressing something that I clearly would disagree with, it always just confuses and bewilders me. Like, do you really think I'm gonna agree with you? Like, what do you think this is gonna do, you know? I don't understand. But nonetheless, the majority of the time I get like really nice comments, and if anything, a lot of people give me information about certain like leaks or certain things that I might have not seen, and it's super nice because, you know, I don't have to do half the research. Thanks, guys. But alas, after Stranger Things Season 3, I got a surplus of messages, of comments, etc., of people telling me that my opinion of Billy from Stranger Things was wrong.
I don't understand.
Yeah, my opinion about a character was wrong. Whoa! Oh, good God. Do I really have to explain this? Oh, these glasses are fake, by the way. I figure at this point you all know these glasses are fake, but, you know. Now let's talk about it. Oh my God, my hair I look like a founding father. Oh well. If you want to see another video as to where I talk about my opinion of Billy, I'll link it just in the I thing. Wherever it is, I really don't know at this point. That one I kind of express like the majority of my opinions about Billy. For some reason the comments got disabled on that video. I don't know why I didn't do that, so I don't know. I've always seen Billy as like a very straightforward kind of character. I mean, let's be real here. I don't think any of the characters in Stranger Things have too much depth to them. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think when you're making a story with as many characters as Stranger Things has, and they have like so far had the ability to make every single character have like a good enough screen presence, memorability, likability, etc., it's kind of amazing that they're able to do that. But of course, with the sacrifice of their characters are going to be a little bit flat. Like, probably one of the more complex characters are, like, Hopper and Eleven, but that's, like, and, like, Will, but that's, like, kind of it. But that's okay. Again, it's a show with so many characters. I'm not expecting every character to be super complex, with a lot of nuance in them. And Billy was always the same in my mind.
I'm sorry, you're what?
You're new to the block. I've come to officially inform you that I'm the bully for this area.
Billy is your very classic Stephen King-esque villain, like the bully. He loves his psychopathic bullies. He's very Henry Bowers-esque. Honestly, that's probably where the majority of this inspiration came from, with also some of like the sex appeal of, you know, like the bad boy characters from 80s movies. He was always very, yeah, like one-dimensional to me. He, you know, comes to a new town, his parents are divorced, he knows that he's attractive, he uses it against people, he likes exuding power over other people. Like, yeah, it makes sense to me. Even at the end of the second season, when we find out that Billy is abused by his father, like, yeah, obviously that's kind of, makes you feel a little bit of empathy for him, as you do any person who, you know, kind of has a crappy life. You don't feel that bad for him because he is continuing this cycle of abuse onto Max. And it sucks because we see Max as such a virtuous, kind character who will not carry those traits. So that's why it feels so much more awful. Again, just using Henry Bowers as an example, we see that his father was very abusive towards him. That's like a big part of how he was shaped the way he was. But especially in the books, that doesn't excuse his actions. Well, when he tied up Mike's dog and he watched him starve himself to death, it's like, again, I feel like it's not this like archaic concept that we shouldn't feel bad for abusers just because they have experienced abuse themselves. Of course, again, we can give them apathy and we can feel a little bad for them, but at the end of the day, they're not making any effort to fix themselves. Therefore, I shouldn't have to feel bad for this person. Well, therefore, that's kind of where I don't feel bad for them anymore. Now, in season 3, they gave him a whole backstory montage of why he is the way he is, and holy crap, that was the cringiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, I feel like there was definitely better ways to show that Billy had a little bit more depth to him than just an abusive bully. But I definitely don't think the way to do that was that really cringy backstory. Like, with this terrible child actor who played Billy, sorry, but it's true, and, like, these weird, like, thunder effects and, like, Eleven seeing this, it was just so weird, and it was so bad and super unnecessary. I was thinking about how I would have rewrote this part and how I would have, shown kind of how we see that Billy has had a hard life too, and so it would have made the moment at the end when he does sacrifice himself a little bit more gut-wrenching, but you also kind of are like, well, you know, he wasn't going to be redeemed, and especially the moment where Max cries be a lot more impactful than it was. This mix of complicated emotions about a character. Like, I think what it probably should have been was at the beginning of season 3, we see, like, Billy and his dad talking, and it escalates into an argument in which the dad hits Billy, or something of that nature. And Max is there to see it. She usually doesn't end up seeing these things, but this is like the first time she kind of saw it. So at the beginning of the season, she's like a little bit shell-shocked. It like makes her see this whole new side to her family that she had never seen before. That's why, especially when she's hanging out with Eleven, she's like, men suck. Like, guys suck. they're the worst. They're the absolute worst. And you kind of feel her anger is clearly coming out because she saw what her father was capable of. And we can see how this translates to later when they're in the sauna scene where they're trying to like smoke the demon out of Billy or whatever. I don't know. And he, you know, gets close to the window and he has like Maxine right there, and it's like he's like about to like attack her with like the shard of glass. That's the moment where she kind of like realizes like after that whole like interaction, she realizes like I should have known better than to think he had it bad, you know, like how, like why would I ever, like immediately all that kind of nuance she had of her brother is gone. Like she's back to feeling like he's like, no, he's like just as bad. He, you know, he probably deserved it kind of thing. So it would make it that much more sad at the end of the season when he does, you know, sacrifice himself. This, I think, would really show the complexities that, at least a little bit more, that Max is feeling in this moment, that Billy is feeling, and the complexity of abuse. And it's not condoning anything. It's almost his last moment of him showing like, I've been a crappy brother this whole time, but hey, at least I can do this one thing for her. That's my 2 cents, but like, you know, whatever. A lot of people also really love to address the point to me that Billy wasn't racist. This is one that I'm always confused with because, again, like I've kind of mentioned, Billy is a pretty simple character in himself, and when we saw him in season 2, there was really not a lot of depth to him, and a lot of people are kind of pulling this depth out of justifying why he would not like Max to see Lucas, kind of like out of their asses, if I'm honest. Okay, so just like let's just like imagine this from a non-biased view of the situation. Billy sees his sister talking to a boy named Lucas. He sees Lucas and he tells her, don't hang out with that kid. Similar things kind of happen. He tells her to not hang out with this kid. And then, flash forward later, Lucas is trying to get Max in order to go do the demodog stuff, whatever. And Max tells Lucas, don't wait at the door, because my brother will kill you. Don't wait at the door, my brother will kill you. Okay. So they sneak out of the house. Flash forward later, we're at the buyer's house. Billy's over here. He's like, where's my sister? I need to go get her. Steve's like, no, like, get out of here, whatever, don't cream your pants, whatever they say. He sees her, and he sees that she is with Lucas. Instead of going to any of the other people in this group that he is now seeing that his sister is hanging out with, he goes to this one, goes to him with the intention of beating him up. And he probably, if it wasn't stopped, would do that if Steve didn't stop him. I don't know what else to read that as other than racism or like some kind of bigotry. Some people tell me that he's just protective over Max.
I don't understand!
And to that, I don't think so, because like, where did you get that from? This whole season we have seen, especially season 2, we have seen him be the opposite of a protective brother. Sure, he's possessive over her, and he wouldn't like the idea probably of her, you know, making friends and having an active social life. Abusers don't like when they're, the person they're abusing has an active social life out of them. But, he could have beat up anyone in that room. Probably Steve, he would have the most aggression to, especially in that moment, because we've seen all season them like really gunning up for a fight. And of course later he does beat up Steve, but first things first is he has to go to the one kid that he has seen Max with. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm missing some glaringly obvious point, but for a character that is so simple as Billy, I can genuinely not understand any other reason why he would do the actions he's done than racism. I don't know what to tell you. Ow. Ow. It's in my hair. No. God damn it. No. Oh my god. Whatever. Now, this leads up to the question I've been wanting to ask this whole video. Why do we care so much about Billy? Why are there so many people that are ready to defend Billy to the grave? Now, let's think about it for a second. Again, like I mentioned a million times, Billy is a flat character, with a little bit of a nuance dressed in there, but like not enough for me to care.
Also, these are for you.
Okay, thanks.
People like him the way they like villains. They like villains because they change the status quo of the show that you're watching. They excite you every time they're on screen because you don't know what chaos they're going to ensue on the protagonists. They are the ones that act differently than everyone else. They are the ones that usually have a bit of swagger to them. They, especially when they are white men, are really, dashing and cool and a ladies' man. These are all things that we have seen time and time again. Why do you think so many people like, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of like villains, Loki. I can't think of any other villains, but that's like the one, that's like the staple one. People like the villains because they're just a little bit more different than everyone else. And that's okay. I hate to break it to you guys, but it's okay to like the villainous characters. Liking a villainous character doesn't mean you're condoning their actions, unless you are. Well, Heathers is one of my favorite pieces of media ever, as I've addressed so many times. JD is probably one of the most interesting characters that I genuinely love a lot. We can take so much away from who he is as a person and how he's been shaped this way by such little minute details that make everything paint such a bigger picture into who he is now. I mean, we don't have to get a cringy montage of us being shown that his mom killed himself in one of his dad's demolitions. We don't have to see that. He just has to say passively in a comment that happened, and we can see his dad being an absolute nutcase, and we can see what kind of environment he's been growing in. This kid has been growing up in a household that he is never in one place, and the only thing he sees is that destruction is the cause of everything. Chaos is what killed the dinosaurs, darling. I can feel sad for what has happened to him. I've seen a number of times the bootleg versions of Heathers online, and I have seen it one time in real life. And every single time that the line in Meant to Be Yours, "Please don't leave me alone," comes on, I cry every single time. Every single time. Do I justify his actions throughout the play and the movie? No, absolutely not. Because this kid is clearly broken and he needs to be stopped, and he needed just some good ass therapy. But guess what? It made him a very interesting villain. I guess what I'm trying to say is that villains can just be villains, and that's okay. That's okay. But we don't have to justify their actions. Well, you can like villains, you can be interested in their character, and that's okay. That's okay. Well, but I don't even understand that with Billy, if I'm honest, because every time they have tried to give him an ounce of complexity, it just feels half-assed, if I'm perfectly honest, and it's boring, and I've seen it a million times already.
My brand of abuse could be particularly detrimental to a child.
Honestly, Henry Bowers' backstory is far more interesting and complex to me than what they've done with Billy, and I understand that they don't have a lot of time to really give these characters, but I think the explanation that I gave earlier for what they should have done is far more concise and easy to do and far less technology and money than what happened in the show. In my personal opinion. So they can't like him for his complexity, so why do people like Billy so much? Oh, he's hot. He's just hot. Yeah. He's hot. You can say Billy's hot. Like, that's okay. Do you know what you can also say? You can say Dacre Montgomery is hot. But, like, whatever. That's, like, technicalities. Like, I get it. Like, you like this specific kind of version of him. And I get that. I get that. So, I guess at the end of the day, what I'm gonna say is stop defending abusers because they're hot. Stop defending abusers because they're hot. Okay, that's it.